Afternoon all, welcome to Archant Towers. David Freezer here, just with a bit of a catch up on all the Norwich City news. We've had a busy couple of days here. Going to have a catch up with my esteemed colleague Michael Bailey in just a minute to catch up on a bit of speculation about James Maddison, which of course we've all been waiting for, expecting. Leicester City, the team linked this afternoon. A little bit of speculation about a potential move for 20 million plus, which is probably pretty good value from what we've been expecting in the last couple of months, and of course with Madders being injured. But there's quite a few other bits and pieces going on today as well. A bit of national speculation from the Press Association that Dean Henderson and Danny Ward are both being monitored by Norwich as goalkeeper options, which I'm sure Remy Matthews will be interested to hear. Henderson was on loan at Shrewsbury alongside Carlton Morris and Ben Godfrey this season in League One, on loan from Manchester United, England under-21 international, very highly rated. And Danny Ward is someone that Stuart Webber of course knows very well. He helped Huddersfield to get promotion to the Premier League season before last, but hasn't really been doing much at Liverpool ever since. So we'll catch up with Michael on both of those issues in just a minute. But Norwich confirmed their pre-season schedule this afternoon. Let me just pull that up in front of us, and I will just show you that, which is Kings in town, all the games away from home because of the pitch being relayed at Carrow Road. Kings Lynn away is the first one, Lincoln City away, Crawley is at Colney behind closed doors. Then the German tour follows. Paderborn and Union Berlin have already confirmed their end games are going to be played, and one more may follow. Back to England and its games against Luton and Charlton. Full details of that over at PinkUn.com already, and loads to get your teeth into. But the Walks is where things will kick off in pre-season this year. A bit of a coup for Kings Lynn, of course, getting the first team coming down. I think Norwich's under-23s are going to the Walks as well in pre-season, so we'll have a look at that. But last night we had the news on Carlton Morris, anterior cruciate ligament injury, which means he could potentially miss, well, probably most of 2018. We'll see. He's yet to have surgery on that knee injury, so that's a massive blow for him after his loan at Shrewsbury. Picked up at Wembley, of course, in the League One playoff final on Sunday. Lots of nice comments from teammates and fans in support of Carlton. James Maddison said he was devastated. Elliot Bennett, who of course had serious knee injuries as well, offered his support, said that Carlton was welcome to give him a call whenever he wanted. So that's a blow to Norwich in terms of the striking ranks, as well as to whether they were going to give Carlton an opportunity. Adam Drury was a name that popped up yesterday. He's been announced as the new assistant manager at Wroxham. He will be assisting Jordan Southgate, who he is a colleague of at the Community Sports Foundation. They coach alongside each other and have recently got the UEFA B licences together. And that followed on from Jamie Godbold leaving Wroxham to go back to Lowestoft, where he's a club legend. So been busy on the local front as well. Another good local story, Lauren Hemp, who is from North Walsham, went to North Walsham High School. She's been playing for Bristol City and won the PFA Young Player of the Year in the women's game. She's got moved to Manchester City, so that's a great story and one that we'll look to follow up on this summer. But clearly she's very excited. Some comments from her on PinkUn.com as well. Ipswich, of course, confirmed Paul Hurst as their manager a few days ago. He was the manager of Shrewsbury. Shrewsbury getting a lot of mentions on our pages at the moment. Full analysis from Michael in today's paper, and again that can be viewed online. Another little piece today, Ebou Adams, who Norwich released recently, midfielder who spent time on loan at Leyton Orient last summer. He's joined Ebbsfleet, so stays in the National League, but turns down Orient to go to Ebbsfleet, who did make the playoffs last season but didn't make it into the Football League. And their manager Darren McMahon has compared him to a young Paul Ince, so high praise indeed. Right, let's go and catch up with Michael on James Maddison issues. Mr. Bailey, can I interrupt you?
Let's have a nice sit down, shall we?
Just bear with me, folks, while we get the camera teed up. But
this counts as a lunch break.
Sort of, yeah. So, James Maddison linked to Leicester.
Yes.
It feels like wheels are perhaps turning. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think what we've had is a lot of speculation about who could possibly be interested in James Maddison. A lot of clubs, as far as I'm concerned, pretty much everyone would kind of like to sign him because he's a quality player with so much talent. There's maybe one or two who feel he might not fit into them just yet, but generally what I'm sensing, and from the bits I've heard, is that today is maybe the start of Leicester emerging as proper contenders to sign him. I think we're starting to see a little bit about the money it would take to prize him out. I'm curious as to the reaction to that, because it's sort of been suggested around £20 million.
Good value as far as I'm concerned.
Well, when you see it, basically, if he goes to Leicester, it'll be as a replacement for Riyad Mahrez, or certainly as a making up for Mahrez's sale. He is a player who could play at the very top level. He's won the Premier League title out of absolutely nowhere with Leicester. He's going for 60 million quid. Yeah. To Man City.
Very good player.
That's a very good player, awesome player. That's a lot of money. That's not going to be a 60 million quid check. It'll be in instalments, I'm sure. Leicester will probably have to pay out various
just
things.
Change for Man City's only, isn't
well,
it?
possibly, yeah. But then, so if you take that into account, then you think, okay, £20 million for James Maddison, maybe slightly more. I would say 20 million is a deal, probably as minimum Norwich would accept. I don't know, to me that sounds right. People
so that would be 20 million up front with add-ons, that sort of thing?
No, I think it'll be a 20 million deal that comes in instalments, because in that I can't see Norwich getting that sort of value. I mean, let's be honest, when they sold Jacob and Pritch, you're probably talking 10, possibly 11 for those two, 12 up front. So, quite what Norwich will get up, I don't know. And to be honest, I don't think it's done. I don't think it's officially agreed or anything like that, even though that's some of what's being speculated. But I think there has to be an acceptance that there'll be a total figure and there will be instalments, and Norwich will still have to work around the financial constraints of that. That's just sort of how it works, really.
Well, I know a lot of the Nationals have been bouncing around some silly figures, so there does seem to be an element of the Norwich support out there who are thinking that they're going to get 30, 40 million, but that's just not realistic.
Yeah.
James Maddison hasn't even played in the Premier League yet, has he?
No, and that's it. So if you say 60 million Riyadh, 20 million James Maddison, that sounds about right. Yeah. Obviously, the Jack Grealish speculation has been frittering around as well, and I think £40 million got touted for that. I mean, Aston Villa are not going to sell Jack Grealish for 40 million quid.
No, and I guess that's what I meant by it. It feels like wheels are moving. Potentially, Grealish and Maddison could be used as sort of bait in the negotiations, couldn't they?
Definite comparisons, and that's kind of. I mean, I tweeted that yesterday. That's the point, really. That whatever Grealish does go, if he goes first, that is a benchmark to them what Norwich can probably sell Maddison for. Flip side. Villa might see that the same if Norwich sell Maddison first, but then Villa are a big club. They might consider themselves bigger than Norwich, and they can command more. There's all sorts of elements into that. But that comes with Norwich having sold Jacob Murphy before and Pritchard before that. They're all benchmarks as to what Norwich can use going forwards, I suppose.
Okay, and the other bit of news this afternoon was on the keeper front, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So just quickly brief the guys on it. Dean Henderson, who was at Shrewsbury,
yep.
Danny Ward, formerly on loan at Huddersfield and sitting on the bench at Liverpool. But you still think that Remy Matthews is the man in with the shot?
I have a feeling that I think, and I don't think anything's decided, but I think going into pre-season, I think Remy's had such a good League One season. He saves them a bit of money, let's be honest. I think they would be keen to see how he gets on. I mean, I wouldn't say there's much between the seasons that Remy Matthews and Dean Henderson had last year. I thought Dean was actually a bit erratic in the. I know he got man of the match, I think, but to me,
well, you were at Wembley, weren't you?
His commanding of the box wasn't great. He was a bit rash at times, and I would be interested. I wouldn't imagine there's much between those two. So that situation, I think Norwich would be right to give Remy a go. I think they will give Remy a go, but clearly Daniel then has to be convinced that Remy is ready, and that's a different matter.
And Remy's got to take that chance, as would have been the case for Carlton Morris if he had not got injured. He wasn't nailed on for the team, was he? He had to impress. But I think if I was, with the big push on how important the academy is going to be for the future, if I was Remy Matthews, I'd feel quite annoyed if he didn't get a proper shot at it, because we're then back at the days of Declan Rudd, of Joe Lewis, where they never really got the chance here, and a lot of fans felt like they were kind of wasted. So I suppose the other thing is Michael McGovern's in this mix, isn't he? What happens to him is going to have a big bearing on it all.
That's a really good point. I think with Michael, a lot of it will probably be up to him. He's on a decent wage, I think. He basically travelled with Norwich last year and didn't play.
High-profile fan.
Mascot. I think that was Carl Lafferty's favourite claim a couple of years ago. So that can't be great. I mean, he's played for Northern Ireland, but I imagine someone like Michael probably wants to just go out and play football, but he's still contracted to Norwich. Norwich probably want that experienced goalkeeping option as well. So how that plays out will be interesting. I think Norwich would probably like to have Michael, because him and Remy is probably a decent mix, but there could be other things at play there. It depends who comes in for people, and don't get me wrong, I think Norwich would have probably got a bank of goalkeepers they're aware of, and I'm sure Ward and Henderson are amongst those, because they have lost Angus. Paul Jones has disappeared, and
did he ever arrive?
You don't know. It might get a couple of weeks into the season. They might think we need some experience, and we need another option here. So it's all fluid, but as we sit at the moment, I think that's how I see it.
Okay, right. Thanks, Michael. We will wrap things there. We'll keep you up to date with everything, of course, over the summer. The transfer board still on January settings at the moment, so we'll have to start getting that filled up soon. But we shall see what happens over the weekend, whether things move on. National newspapers have their say, whether they have any further insight to add to the mix. One thing to watch out for over the weekend: Kenny McLean in international action with Scotland. They're playing Mexico at the Azteca Stadium, which can hold 87,000. So Kenny's described it as ticking one off his bucket list, but that is at 1 AM our time Sunday, so only the brave of you are going to stay up to watch that one, but I think it is on telly if you want to catch up on it. But basically my whole point of this video is all that news, the place you need to be, PinkUn.com.